you to come visit the cab and take a look at it pretty much. So R711 is heading down to the coal stage. Number 6 is on your open name yard map. If you want to see what the cab of the R-Class looks like, particularly this locomotive with its unique multiple unit control stand, we're going to talk about that one more later today. Head on down to number 6.
All right, we've got a meeting of the black and red R-classes at the photo line right now. R761 is just swapping roads from 4 road into 5 roads, getting ready for shortly the passenger locomotives lineup. But of course that means it's rubbing shoulders with R707, both wearing the same black and Hudson red livery. Absolutely stunning, really, having that locomotive repainted before our previous open days of 2024. Yeah, absolutely awesome. And of course, that means now we've had a new locomotive repainted for every single open day since 2020. I wonder what could be coming in 2028, Micah? Oh, I don't know. R700 maybe? No? Yeah, I could probably do with another repaint. Yeah. Wonder if anything else might be due.
Oh. Maybe B72 if they want to change the Vic Rail livery to something else. I don't know. I think all the locos look as good as they are, really.
Yeah, especially with all the hard work that it takes cleaning them in the lead up to the event. Several people spending many hours trying to clean up. Really, really hard work getting these all shiny and ready.
Now, looks like A2986 is heading back up the ladder track. We're going to stop talking here.
There at the workshop. You've got our friends at Dermtab with their famous sausage sizzle happening inside their workshops. They've got, well, sausages and soft drinks all up for grabs, and of course all the money from that goes to restoring and maintaining their Derm, their diesel rail motor, which does run mainline trips throughout the year. Of course, if you want to find out more, they do have an information standing there, so you can have a hot dog and a chat. Aside from that, you've got food at the entry with a number of food trucks who are also doing scones.
wanting to see some narrow gauge action on the move this weekend, Klondike is currently running up and down its short section of track at number 14 on your program map.
And if you haven't already, go visit our friends at the Bellarine Railway tent, the blue tent right behind the locomotive. They run a lot of great trips over on the Bellarine Railway out of Queenscliff. And yeah, they're just really fun trips. You know, the Q train also operates down there if you like your fine dining, and also the Blues train. I have been on the Blues train. It is a lot of fun, and it sells out every weekend. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how you sell tickets for a train like that every weekend. They somehow do it. Now, 82986 coming back for another photo run by.
Of course, there is another great vantage point, which is on board the Seymour Railway Heritage Centre train. Have a look, explore their various carriages, including the original dining carriage built for Victoria's Spirit of Progress passenger train, and state carriage number 4, the royal carriage that carried Queen Elizabeth II herself on her royal tour of Victoria. Their carriages provide excellent viewing of the ladder track, so you can sit, look, have a watch, and see the steam train roaring past outside.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to draw your attention to R761. Just leaving a depot now, making a bit of a spirited move off Full Road there. Looks like the smokestack's gone. Oh well, we hope you got a few shots of that one anyway. And if you do share it on the social media. So 82986 just stopped short there as we attach D363 motives, both passenger engines and of similar vintage. However, they both have very different stories getting to where they are today. D3639 has been with Steamrail since the very beginning, since the founding of the Steam Preservation Coordination Committee more than 50 years ago, in fact 60 years ago. And 82986 is a much more modern restoration story, only returning to service 10 years ago at this open day. So as I mentioned before, 82986 is 110 years old. D3639 is 122 years old, so a little bit older than the A2.
They also do sport quite a few differences, including their driving wheels. D3639 has normal spoked driving wheels, but 82986 sports box driving wheels, which have a much more solid wheel face to them.
Is going to enter the turntable and it's going to be spun around. Should be good. While we're here, have a look at R761, just leaving the depot there. Look at the smokestack on that one, guys. The D3 and the A2 is a double header coming up on the photo run by. Get your cameras ready. We're going to stop talking here. Okay, looks like they've stopped short a little bit, that's okay. Oh, no, they're coming along again. Get your cameras ready. The D3 locomotive popped 2 whistles just before it stopped, and it's just popped 3 whistles before it's going backwards. These are signal codes between the engine crew of both locomotives. So when the locomotives are double or even triple heading, the 2 whistle pops indicate for the other locomotives to shut off power because they're about to slow down. The 3 whistle pops is to indicate that the locomotive or the train will be pushing backwards, otherwise called propelling. This is also a code used in maritime as well. The 3 horn blast is to indicate that the vessel is going to go backwards. So they may do it again on the next photo run by, but just an interesting tidbit there. And as you can see over on the turntable, R707, the City of Melbourne being turned on the turntable. Now once again, there is no electric motor in this turntable, there is no engine. It's all being turned by manpower. Yes, pun intended. So we'll turn the locomotive every hour on the turntable, and then once the locomotive goes back into its parking spot, you can go visit the cab of the locomotive. You may even be able to blow the whistle.
Alright, just a 10-minute call for the photo lineup with A2986, C3639 and R761 happening at 1:15 up here at the top of the ladder track. Really great opportunity to get a photo of these passenger locomotives. That's in 10 minutes at the top of the ladder track.
And of course, to do that, we're going to have to do a little bit of shunting to get D3639 off the train. So we're looking at, hopefully, we might be getting a little shunting demonstration before then.
Yep, as well said, this will take place in 10 minutes' time. If you are elsewhere in the Newport Workshops precinct, now's a good time to start making your way to the photo lineup area. That's number 13 or number 10 on your open days yard map. So if you're not here already, now's a good time to start heading across here to do so. The best spot for the photos, of course, is on the other side of the level crossing. So do get across to this side for the best photos. All right, looks like the doubleheader is shortly on its way.
Start getting some of the locomotives marshalled for the photo lineup. So if you want to see a little bit of shunting action before they get in, or the last run of the doubleheader here, or the last couple of runs, now's your time.
the train short here. They're going to uncouple D3639 from the A2 and move it on to, I believe, the siding closest to us. And then we've got R761 that's going to join the next photo lineup. The time is 1:15 p.m. If you have not already, please start making your way to the photo line area, number 10 or number 13 on your Open Days Yard map for our upcoming photo lineup of the Victorian Railways passenger steam locomotives A296-986, C3639 and R761. Now, as a matter of interest, Will, yesterday there were 4 R-Class locomotives in operation of its fleet.
That's right, Micah, there was 3 of them here, and there was another one not in Victoria.
Yep, in New South Wales, locomotive R766, also a former Victorian Railways Hudson R-Class locomotive, that's actually been converted to standard gauge by our friends at the picnic train in New South Wales, right to Goulburn.
That's right, he does live up there. Well, that's where he lives up there. He used to run around Victoria in the 90s and early 2000s, even with West Coast Railway, just before it went into overhaul. It did take a little while to happen, but it is now, yes. Very interesting to see running around in New South Wales.
So we have 4 R classes running yesterday, and we also had 4 K classes running yesterday. I think the Victorians have done really well with preserving their amount of D3 and 639. Sorry, D3 639, A2 986 are going to slowly inch into position for the photo lineup. As a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, once the lineup has taken place and you've got your photos, please do consider people behind you. Let them at the defence line to get their photos as well. You know what else is exciting about this lineup, Adam? Yep, the 3 different examples of steam rail headboard. So many different types, so many different colours. Isn't it just fantastic? Who doesn't love a good headboard? No, a steam locomotive is not complete without a headboard. I don't know why people would try and take it out in some of their photos. I think it's just criminal. Oh, agreed. No, they should go to jail for that one. Okay, on a more lighter note, we're just getting the locomotives into position now. Once again, this lineup will be here for about 5 to 10 minutes. They're not going anywhere soon. Once you have your photos, please let people behind you up to the fence line to get their photos as well. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the locomotives are now in position. They're going to be here for about 5 minutes in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, everyone. All right, these will be the last photos, and then we will be commencing shunting of the train. Now, for those of you that are sticking around and nice and keen to watch what's happening, we got D3639 will be moved forward up the yard towards the fence. Our yard controller Riley was taking care of that movement. R761 will chuff off back into the depot, and A2986 will continue running the goods train up and down the yard. We've also had a change of crew, change of volunteers, change of shift. Alright, while D3639 is coupling us to the front of the train, we're going to have a quick chat about hand signals. I'm here with John, who is managing the yard, and we will be talking about... Yeah, John, so tell me, Riley is here, currently studying the train. What is the hand signal that he's doing right now?
So at the moment what he's doing is calling that loco towards him, but with the arm going across the body. So he'll call him towards until he's getting close to about 20 feet away. Then he'll put his right arm up to indicate come towards me slowly once the loco keeps moving.
Excellent, and then we'll get slightly closer in 1 second.
Rolling towards the back of the D3639. So tell me what he's doing now. So Riley's now calling the A2 towards him slowly, advising that there is an obstruction ahead. So he's come across slowly, and now he's calling for an ease up, which means they're about to double. So once they ease up, you will give a signal as they come before the red light, which will be 2 arms
shortly.
Thank you, John. Now, as I mentioned before, we've had a change of shift, change of crew, and we have a different set of crew on these locomotives now. If you're on the left-hand side, you can see Adam on locomotive D3639 and Jake on A2986. They're both from the Bellarine Railway. They normally drive a, well, I should say a smaller locomotive. They're on narrow gauge, it's still a large locomotive, but they're driving something on a slightly wider gauge for something different. After this one, but now then that's what's the top of the yard.